Has LeBron James done enough to catch Giannis in the MVP race? I've got Colin here with me today to figure it out. Hey everybody, this is Jacob here with Amateur Hour Sports. I've got Colin here with me to talk about the MVP race in the NBA. It seems like we may not see the end of the regular season, but Colin is with me to talk about whether or not LeBron has done enough to win the MVP if we don't see the rest of the season.
That's a great question.
What are your initial thoughts on it?
Okay, so my initial thoughts are, in my heart, I think LeBron's the MVP. In my heart, I really do. I always think LeBron's the MVP. But I just have a feeling it's gonna go to Giannis, man. Like, and the way that the MVP award is set up, like, man, at the end of the day, they really just look at who is on the best team and who has the best stats, and they're gonna instantly look to Giannis and be like, well, he's averaging almost 30 a game, and his team is first in the league. Yeah, and I mean that's not a bad argument, but to me, when you look at MVP, you have to look at more than just stats and where your team is. I think you should definitely take that into consideration. That an MVP on a team that is not on the top 4 is very, very rare.
Well, their teams are in position to be MVPs at this point. Lakers are first in the West, Bucks first in the East.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So. And since it's a regular season award, they are going to look at that really heavily. And like you look at Giannis's stats, they are crazy, and he has played really not that many minutes. But in my heart, LeBron is the MVP. I think he's the better basketball player. Giannis is just a freak athlete, and man, like, I know it's going to go to Giannis, but I want LeBron to win.
I think LeBron got robbed of at least 2 MVPs while he was playing in Cleveland, in his second spell in Cleveland. He was unreal in Cleveland. Like, the stats he put up, like, shooting well above, like, he shot 55% and put up 26 points per game in the 2016-2017 season. And still wasn't rewarded with an MVP at all in his stint in Cleveland, which is absolutely astonishing to me. I think there's a bit of a bias on the East, especially in that era when LeBron was playing in Cleveland the second time, and I don't understand why that is no longer present. Do you feel like that stigma against the East has kind of been thrown away lately?
Mean, I definitely think it's still there. I don't know if it's as bad as it used to be. I mean, like, now with stars like Kevin Durant coming over to the East and players like Kyrie staying, like, I definitely think the West has still been the more dominant conference, but I don't think it's enough anymore to argue against someone, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's enough to be like, oh, well, that person played in the East in this year.
Yeah.
I think those days are behind us, but okay. I definitely don't think that it's even.
Okay, yeah, I think you're right there. In terms of the MVP race, I think that LeBron, unfortunately, has not done enough to catch Giannis. It seemed like, and I was one to say that it was locked up, Giannis was the MVP. But LeBron was making a push, and honestly,
at the end there, LeBron was making a push.
Because they took down the Bucks, then they took down the Clippers in the same in a 3-day span. They lost to the Nets right before the league got postponed, but right there, he took down Giannis and he took down Kawhi, who seemed to have had his number in the previous meetings that season. So I think if we had the rest of the season, LeBron could have caught Giannis and surpassed him.
I definitely agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. And I think, like, the Lakers' record and the Bucks' records really aren't that far off. It's probably
53-12, 49-14. So, there you go. What is it? 4 games. 2.5 games off?
3 games?
Oh, 3.5 games off. The Bucks have played an extra game.
But anyways, like, I think if they definitely played the rest of the season, I think LeBron, if he kept up playing the way that he was, I definitely think he would have had a shot for MVP. But I also think that there's a bit of a stigma in the league around giving players too many MVPs.
There is.
And I have said this before. I've said this probably for the past 3 or 4 years now. I think LeBron has been robbed off of many MVPs, just like you said, Jacob. And I think we can all look at LeBron's career, and in every single one of his 17 seasons now, right?
Yeah.
In every one of his seasons, we can look at him and be like, he's the best player in the league.
Yeah.
Starting from his second season. His rookie year, he was great. But his second season, I think you can
make the case.
You can make the case that LeBron is the best player in the world to this day, right? But they're not going to give you, 15 MVPs. I think any knowledgeable basketball watcher and content enjoyer and someone who actually understands the game of basketball, I think if you ask them who the real MVP was, they would say LeBron James every year. But the way that the award is set up, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's the media vote. Like, it's not. It's just like a popularity contest.
Well, I think in this case, Giannis has probably been the best player up to this point. I mean, like 30 points, 14 rebounds in just over 30 minutes is no joke. Like,
no, that's insane.
This guy isn't even playing.
I'm not taking anything away from Giannis. Like, I'm really not. But I have said this before. I don't think Giannis is as skilled as people give him credit for. No. I mean, like, he's a fantastic player. He's one of the best in the world, but he is not by any means anywhere close to the talent or skill that any of the top 15 players in the league have.
No, and obviously we're knocking his ability, but that doesn't discredit him as a basketball player.
If he's going to win,
he uses his strengths to his advantage.
If he can win MVP off of mere dominance and size, disregarding any other thing that a normal basketball person would look at and be like, "Oh, you're not good at," aka ball handling, shooting, all that kind of thing. If you can win MVP not doing that well at all, just imagine what he's going to do once he starts picking that up.
And he did kind of pick up the 3 ball this year. He shot over two extra attempts from 3 a game and shot almost 50% better than he did in the previous season. He's shooting 30.6, which
still not good,
but getting there.
It's getting to the point where you almost have to respect it.
And you can't sag. You can't guard him. It's not Ben Simmons. You have to.
I don't think we're there yet. Like, in the playoffs, if there is a playoffs, I think teams are still going to want him to shoot.
Yeah.
But I think by next year, you're going to, you won't be able to just sag off him anymore.
No.
You won't be able to dare him to shoot anymore. Like, if he keeps on the trajectory that he's looking at right now, he's going to be a great shooter in 3 or 4 years.
I think what kind of helps Giannis in this scenario is that his team is, as well as LeBron's team, those are lottery teams without themselves. Like,
you could argue that the Lakers would not be a lottery team with Anthony Davis. If you took off LeBron and Anthony Davis and you still run the team around that squad, I think the Lakers could still make the playoffs.
The Lakers, when AD is on the floor as opposed to when he's not, their difference in points, I think the net points is like, I think for AD it's like 1.4 of a difference when he's on to when he's off. And I think when LeBron is on the court, regardless of Anthony Davis's presence, I think it's like plus 6 or 7.
Yeah.
AD does not make this team a contender. LeBron makes this team a contender.
No, I don't think AD alone makes the team a contender. I think they would still have a chance to make the playoffs if it was just AD.
A low playoff team at best, I think, with AD. This is not a great Lakers team. The Bucks as well. I mean, when Giannis sat at those games, they got
obliterated by, who was it, the Suns, was it?
I think the Suns was one of them. They got their shit pumped by two different teams. They lost, it looked better by the end of the game, but they lost 140-131 to the Suns, and then the Nuggets dumped them 109-95. And those are the 2 games Giannis did not play. And Giannis only has to play 31 minutes to get his team in this position. So
here's what I'm saying. When you take Giannis out of the game, either he's not playing at all or you're just locking him down on defense, the Bucks aren't as built as the Lakers are to deal with that. You know what I mean? And if you lock down Giannis, the Bucks are just, they kind of shrivel up. We saw that in the playoffs last year. We've seen glimpses of that in the regular season.
Well, to be fair, Giannis wasn't tremendous in the Raptors series either.
No. But I think that could be a MVP case for Giannis. The fact that him alone makes that team so much better than him not being there.
Well, the same goes for LeBron. That's what I mean. Both the guys are in that position where without them, their teams suck pretty much. So
Is the NBA are we ready to give Giannis his second MVP at 25 years old?
I think
Are we ready to do that? That's like
in this era of the NBA, you play against your former self. It's not a case of being better than everybody else. You got to be better than your former self. And I think Giannis has been that much better than his former self of last season. He has upgraded his game.
All of his numbers are pretty much there. The only things that really went down were like steals, blocks.
Field goal percentage went down, but that's because he's shooting a lot more threes.
Free throw percentage is at the basement right now.
Yeah.
63, that's the worst in his career.
Yeah, which is very odd actually. But 14 rebounds, career high, almost 30 points, career high. Those are not normal NBA numbers. So.
Yeah. Are we willing to give the MVP to a guy who will hit a free throw 60% of the time?
Well, LeBron is in the same boat.
LeBron's at 70. He's at 697.
Yeah, okay, but still, neither of them are formidable free. Okay,
no, neither of them are good.
If I was voting, if I was on the panel, I would vote for Giannis. I think Giannis has done enough to hold off LeBron's push. I think that we've been robbed of watching this MVP race progress till the end of the season. Unfortunately, I think LeBron could have done it. I think he would have done it if he had more time because he was in playoff mode. He entered playoff mode.
LeBron was in killer mode. Yeah. After the All-Star break, LeBron was out for heads.
Yeah. LeBron was headhunting. Giannis was on the list and he got crossed off. Kawhi was on the list and he got crossed off, but not enough time. He ran out of time for the MVP race, and I think that's where ultimately we will leave it. I would be pretty surprised if we did see the end of the regular season, though I think that they should play out this season in its entirety, finish the playoffs, and then shorten the next season so that teams can prepare for that shorter season.
Yeah.
I would rather finish this season and have a short next season than cut off this season just to have the entirety of next season. I think that would be the smartest move for the NBA.
It's an interesting shout. I actually think that's a very interesting shout because if you finish this season now and then do everything regularly once this whole coronavirus thing is done, then players can expect the fact that next season is going to be shorter and they can kind of prepare for that.
That's what I mean. Yeah. I think that's the avenue to pursue. At the minimum, I hope we get a playoffs. This was going to be one of the craziest and most entertaining playoffs the NBA's seen in a long time, I think.
When everything comes back, expect just crazy stuff.
It wasn't just fucking Warriors going to town. There's a lot of dogs out here ready to go fight.
Yeah, and they're resting. They're probably still staying in shape, eating well.
We may if we get the playoffs at this point, it will be one of the best playoffs we've ever seen because everybody's gonna be rested. We're going to see completely fresh players.
Plus fully healthy teams. No one can complain about injuries.
That's what I mean. Except for maybe the Brooklyn Nets.
I hope
to fucking God.
My God,
I hope to fucking God KD's not back for that series against the Raptors. I mean, full respect to players. I hate seeing players get injured, but as a result of the season postponing, the Raptors
it would kind of be fitting to see KD come back against the Raptors.
Yeah.
I think we would lose.
I don't think
the Nets with KD, Kyrie in the Nets.
I don't think we would
lose. That would
be tough. Nick Nurse, the tactical genius, I think would figure it out.
But it'd be 7. I think it'd be 7.
It would be 7. Just like what was it? 2013 when we went 7 against the Nets.
And then Paul Pierce
stuffed Kyle Lowry. Yeah, I'll never forget that image. But hey, we've got our ring. I think that's enough for this episode. Thank you for listening to the Amateur Hour Sports. We're going to have video coming soon in the future, but for now we're still going with the podcast format. But stay tuned for more episodes regarding NBA awards. Thanks for listening. Check out the links in the description for everything amateur.